Why does the president use executive agreements instead of treaties? Imagine needing to quickly establish a formal understanding with another country without the lengthy process of formal negotiations and Senate approval. This scenario highlights why the president often turns to executive agreements rather than treaties. Executive agreements are arrangements made by the president that do not requiring the two-thirds majority approval of the United States Senate, unlike treaties which demand such a supermajority for ratification. The primary reason for this preference is efficiency. Negotiating treaties involves a detailed process that can take months or even years. It requires extensive negotiations, drafting, and then a formal approval process in the Senate. This process can be slowed down by political disagreements or partisan considerations, making it less suitable for urgent matters or routine agreements. Executive agreements, on the other hand, can be negotiated and implemented swiftly because they do not need Senate approval. The president can enter into these arrangements based on existing constitutional authority, especially when the agreement pertains to matters within the scope of the president's powers, such as foreign policy and national security. Another important factor is flexibility. Executive agreements allow the president to adapt quickly to changing circumstances or diplomatic needs without the formalities associated with treaties. This flexibility is particularly useful in situations requiring immediate action, such as responding to international crises or establishing temporary arrangements. Additionally, executive agreements can be easier to modify or terminate compared to treaties, which often requiring a formal process for amendments or withdrawal. It is also worth noting that executive agreements are often used for routine or less controversial matters, such as trade agreements, military cooperation, or administrative arrangements. These agreements help streamline international relations and allow the president to maintain a proactive foreign policy without waiting for legislative approval. However, because executive agreements do not requiring Senate ratification, they are sometimes viewed as less permanent or binding than treaties, which are considered formal international commitments. In summary, the president uses executive agreements primarily because they provide a faster, more flexible way to conduct foreign relations, especially when swift action is needed or when the agreement is less politically sensitive. This approach allows the executive branch to effectively manage international affairs within the scope of constitutional authority, balancing the need for prompt diplomacy with the legislative process.